Right now, there is a massive shift happening among the top programmers and AI power users. People like Boris Cherny, the creator of Claude Code, and Peter Steinberger, who built OpenClaw. Well, they aren't just sitting there typing single prompts into a chatbot anymore. Instead, they've moved on to something called loop engineering. Basically, they're building automated systems where the AI actually prompts itself to complete incredibly complex workflows. And today, we're going to break down exactly how you can build these automated AI loops yourself.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda for today. 1. The shift to AI loops. 2. The 5 stages of loops. 3. The pickleball store example. 4. Adding an orchestrator agent. 5. 4 real-world practice scenarios. And 6. Keeping humans in control.
Section 1. The shift to AI loops. Using AI loops for tasks well beyond just writing code.
To really grasp why this is such a game changer, we have to look at the old way versus the new way. You know, the old way, right? It's that manual iteration. You write a prompt, the AI spits something out, you read it, realize it completely missed the mark, and then you write another prompt. It's a frustrating manual back and forth. You are iterating, sure, but you are the slow engine driving every single step. Now, the new way, it's entirely different. You set the goal once. That's it. From there, the system loops itself. It evaluates its own output, corrects its own mistakes, and runs iterations automatically until that goal is actually met.
Now, before we get into the weeds, we need to define a term we're going to be throwing around a lot: the agent. In this context, an agent is an independent AI role assigned to a highly specific task. It executes its work autonomously within the larger loop, which completely replaces your need to manually prompt it step by step. Think of an agent as a digital specialist you've hired for one very specific job, whether that's coding, deep research, or copywriting.
Section 2. The 5 stages of loops. The universal blueprint for AI automation.
So how does a loop actually function? Well, every automated loop follows 5 exact stages. It starts with the goal. This is set by you, the human, just once. Second is discovery, where the agents explore the environment to figure out what actually needs doing. Third is the plan, breaking that work into clear, actionable steps. Stage 4 is execute. And honestly, this is where things get wild, because execution can happen in parallel. You could spin out 15 different agents doing 15 different things at the exact same time. Finally, stage 5 is verify. A verification agent checks if the output actually accomplished the goal. If it did, it ships. If not, the loop iterates and tries again.
But here's the catch. For a loop to actually work, it desperately needs memory. Memory is basically storage that lives completely outside your main chat conversation. It tracks the state of the project and logs exactly which steps are already done. Without memory, AI tends to get, well, amnesia. It gets stuck repeating the exact same tasks over and over again. Memory is absolutely crucial. It's what keeps your agents moving forward toward the finish line instead of running in circles. Also, a very quick reality check on costs. AI usage is measured in tokens, which are essentially the units of compute you're paying for. Now, you could build an open loop where you just give a broad command like, hey, go figure out what we should do and do it. But an open loop wanders freely, and it will burn through massive amounts of tokens. No thank you. Instead, I strongly recommend the closed loop approach. With a closed loop, you give the system a tightly bounded goal and crystal clear evaluation criteria. You constrain the agents, which keeps your token spend totally predictable. Section 3. The pickleball store example. Automating site growth with 3 parallel specialist agents. Let's make this concrete. Imagine you run an online pickleball store, and your goal is to grow your audience completely automatically. We're going to set up a loop with 3 distinct agents working simultaneously. Let's meet the team.
First up, Agent 1, the builder. Notice how explicit our instructions are in the prompt here. We aren't just giving a vague make a quiz command. We're telling it to build a self-contained HTML file, map specific playing styles to the quiz results, and crucially, include a mandatory email capture form right before the user gets their result. This agent has tunnel vision. It does absolutely nothing but code this specific deliverable.
Now, while the builder is off coding, Agent 2, the scout, is running at the exact same time. Its job? Autonomous market research. It is digging through Reddit, YouTube, and search trends to figure out what real pickleball players are actually struggling with. And it doesn't just hand you a random list of ideas, it scores them based on audience size and purchase intent, outputting a ranked top 8 list. And remember, it's doing this completely independently of the builder. Finally, we have Agent 3, the growth agent. This prompt is the vital connector. Think of this agent as a super smart marketing hire. It waits, reads the finished HTML file from the builder, and grabs the ranked research list from the scout. Then, it goes to work. It audits your site to figure out where to place the quiz links, drafts a launch email to your existing customers, writes platform-native social captions, and uses the scout's research to recommend your very next lead magnet.
Section 4. Adding an orchestrator agent. Full automation without human clicking. So we've got these 3 brilliant sub-agents, right? But if you have to manually copy-paste their outputs to each other every single time, you're still the bottleneck. We need to completely remove you from the mechanics.
That is where the orchestrator comes in. An orchestrator is simply your AI manager. It owns the main overarching goal. It reads the project's memory, literally a file called next_steps, to see what happened last week. Then it delegates tasks to the sub-agents, waits for them to finish up, and synthesizes all their work into one master action plan. It's evaluating the conditions. Are there new content ideas? Is the site growing? If yes, it pauses for the week. If no, it loops again.
By dropping this exact master orchestrator prompt into a tool like Claude Code, this single agent spawns the builder, the scout, and the growth agent entirely on its own. It checks its memory, delegates the work, and closes the loop when that weekly goal is achieved. This is literally how you automate an entire marketing department without making a single click.
Section 5. 4 real-world practice scenarios. Adapting loops to everyday professions. Now that you've got the mechanics down, how would you actually adapt this to your own life? Let's rapidly apply this closed-loop concept to 4 very different everyday scenarios. Ask yourself how you would loop these tasks before we reveal the answers. First up, the freelancer. Say you have 6 clients and you spend hours every single Friday writing status updates. You could build a loop that runs automatically every Friday at 4 p.m. The agent reads your 6 project folders, checks a memory file to recall each client's preferred communication tone, and automatically drafts personalized weekly summaries. It just drops them in a folder for your quick review. Hours of work reduced to minutes, and the AI didn't even need a coffee break. Second, the student who's just trying to keep up with something fast-moving, like AI. You set a loop. For Sunday morning, the agent scrapes the web for the 5 biggest developments, scores them by relevance to your specific syllabus, filters out the junk, and writes a plain English briefing. And critically, it checks its memory of the last 3 weeks so it never wastes your time repeating old news. Third, the e-commerce shop owner. You know you need to constantly optimize your product pages, but let's be real, you never have the time. So you create a loop that runs on the 1st of every month. It reads your sales data, identifies the top 3 items that have high traffic but terrible conversions, and automatically rewrites their copy with stronger hooks and calls to action. It even logs every single change it makes so you can track it. Fourth, the YouTube creator. It is time to stop picking video topics just based on vibes. Your new loop runs every Monday morning. It pulls your last 90 days of performance data, looks at your massive backlog of ideas, and scores every single one against current trends, while checking if competitors have already covered it. Then it just hands you a ranked top 5 list of exactly what you should film next.
Section 6. Keeping humans in control. Understanding current AI limitations. Because as incredible as all this is, we definitely need a reality check.
The reality is, AI is brilliant, for sure, but it is not perfect at predicting real-world human behavior. In our pickleball demo, for instance, the growth agent suggested one link placement that was just slightly off, simply because it lacked the full visual context of the website design. Think of these agents as a wildly capable team that's generating ideas and doing the heavy lifting. Build the loop, absolutely, but always layer your own critical human judgment on top of the final output. We've covered a massive shift today, moving from manual prompting to fully automated, specialized AI teams working in parallel. And honestly, the most exciting part? You don't have to wait for the future to try this. As our source points out, you can start building one today with a Claude or Codex subscription. So the only question left is, what bounded goal are you going to set for your very first automated loop?